What is going on, commanders? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be covering the exclusive lounge officer. He has just came out, and I know I normally do cover free to play, but of course we do have to just show how insane this new officer is. So we're going to jump straight into it, and as you can see here, guys, the new officer named Wings of Wanderlust is absolutely amazing. Now, not only does he have a really good skill set, and if you are to awaken him, I'm going to help you kind of understand what sort of unit to put him on, but I'm also going to talk about the actual skills in which we can use for training, because not only that, they are very good either way. So buckle in, guys. Let's quickly take a look at the different skills available, and we'll discuss the skill training afterwards. So the first one here, guy, forces an enemy ground force troop to target this officer's troop for 4 seconds, making the enemy troop uncontrollable during this time. While this effect is active, increases the damage of this officer's troop by 80% and its damage resist by 55%. That is absolutely insane. We're just going to quickly read through them all, and then we'll come back and sort of discuss the different features, okay? The second one here is the normal attack damage buff of 25%, and then the firing accuracy buff of 15%. Not too bad. Here we have damage resist of 3%, but what it is whenever this officer's troop is attacked, it has a 20% chance to gain 3% damage resist for 8 seconds. This can stack up to 10 times, which means you can get a total of 30% damage resist. That is a lot of damage resist, guys. Then we also have, finally, increases the damage of this officer's troop by 6% every 1 second during combat. This effect can stack up to 5 times and resets when leaving combat. So while you're in combat, within 5 seconds, you're going to go from 0 to 30% extra damage. That is honestly crazy. And then finally, his awoken skill is increases the damage by 6% every second and stacks up to 5 times. And then when you are at that maximum stack, which would be after 5 seconds, at maximum stack, the attacks of this officer's troop have a 30% chance to deal extra skill damage to the target. Damage coefficient of 350, which can be triggered once every 2 seconds. So we'll start with this one. Absolutely insane, okay? So just exactly the same as Saber. Many of you guys may know Saber here, but Saber's awoken skill is that the artillery troop has a 30% chance to instantly activate Saber Nation's tactical skill, which is obviously this here. Now, of course, this is a much higher coefficient, but of course, when you are using an artillery, they fire like every 4 seconds, and then after that first initial 4 seconds, it's like every 2 to 3 seconds, depending on your research and stuff and skills you have on your officer. But with this guy, he could attack every 2 seconds. So long story short, guys, every 2 seconds, you have a 30% chance to keep doing 350. That is honestly insane. So I think the fact that, you know, having this ability on top of the other abilities is going to be wild. So if you can awaken this guy, he is going to be absolutely amazing. And he's going to be mostly a field officer. One good thing about this officer, which I have yet to mention, he is versatile, which means he is able to go on absolutely any unit and still perform at his full potential. It is the first ever officer we've had in the exclusive lounge that is not dedicated to one troop type. So let's jump straight back to the first skill here, guys, and let's talk about the fact that you can get 80% damage buff and a 55% damage resist. Now, with regards to the first part where it forces a target troop to attack, you know, the troop that you are on, making it uncontrollable. Let's just, for example, say if you have this on an infantry, okay, and you go to attack, say, a helicopter or an MB or a light tank, it is going to make it so that unit will attack you. You can't move away. You have 4 seconds where you just cannot pull that unit away. So honestly, with the added damage buff, okay, with this, the added damage resist, you're not going to take any damage. You're going to deal a lot of damage, especially if you pair it up with like Bear, who is designed to deal damage. Your infantry troop is going to become absolutely amazing. Now, don't get me wrong, it could do a lot more damage on a different troop, for example, like a heli, like a light tank, like something like that. It could definitely do a lot more damage on, you know, something like that. But just in theory, the fact that you're forcing something to attack in your inventory and go after something like a heli or something like an MB, something you know is not going to do a lot of damage to your infantry anyway, now it's going to do absolutely nothing and you are going to really destroy that unit. So I think it's crazy. Now, moving on to skill training, and honestly, guys, there's a lot to take from this, okay? If I had the option, say I had the 180 statues, what one would I level up first? Honestly, guys, I genuinely 100% believe the best option is gonna be this option here, okay? So within 5 seconds, you're gonna be dealing 30% damage. It is the first skill, I believe, that grants 30% damage. We've had 20%, you know, we've had 25% to fortifications, but I don't believe we've ever had a 30%. Now, we've had 30% skill damage, we've had 40% skill damage, but this is just pure damage. It goes for everything. That's normal damage, that's skill damage, it's just pure damage, and honestly, it is the highest we've ever seen. So with that being said, this is probably going to be the strongest skill. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're running something like a light tank, this skill here will be absolutely insane too. Another 25% to normal attacks, which the light tank, you know, goes off of normal damage 9 times out of 10, and its firing accuracy, so it will do obviously that a little bit better. Sure, the damage resist isn't bad, but it's one of those, it has a 20% chance to gain 3%. Obviously, it depends how often you're attacked, but still, it's a good skill just in general, but I don't think it's something worth taking and putting on via skill training. That's just my personal opinion. But overall, guys, I think this officer is... I don't like using the word extremely OP, but let's be honest, it is extremely OP. And what makes it even more overpowered is the fact it's versatile. Because this can literally work on absolutely any unit, it will be very good on a howitzer, for example, because imagine the howitzer gaining 80% damage there, it's gaining 30% damage there, it's then going to be doing coefficient damage. Like, it is going to be very good on a howitzer, right? But maybe there's better options for the Howie, i.e. Howie specific officers. But even like an ATG, having, you know, the normal attack buff on an ATG, having just pure damage buff on an ATG, like, I think that this is something that would be really, really good. The only thing is, if you're using this officer in the field, it wouldn't be good on something like an ATG or a Howie because of the fact that it's gonna make a unit attack it. You don't want your Howies to be attacked. You want your tanking unit to get attacked, right? So if you're a field Howie, which, you know, a lot of people are. A lot of people like to take their Howies in the field, especially in rallies. It might not be the best officer to have for that Howie that's in the field. If it's in your base, different story. But if it's in the field, it's kind of risky with the fact that it draws attention to itself, okay? But with that being said, guys, this officer is amazing. I hope this video has helped you kind of understand the type of skills that you might want to think about using as skill training. But the biggest tip I'm going to give you right now, guys, okay, is if you are already working on another exclusive lounge officer and you are free to play, stick with that officer first. Don't go switching and changing. You know, just because the new officers come out, you're going to start leveling this officer up. You're like, oh my God, he's so good. I want this one now. And you start leveling this person up. By the time you get even halfway into this, there will be a new officer that comes out for the lounge that's even better. And then you're going to want that one instead. So just work on whatever one you're working on. I'm currently working on Liberty. I managed to unlock the 4th skill to level 5. Now I'm working on the 2nd skill to level 5, and then eventually I'll go after the 3rd skill to level 5. But as I said, guys, I hope this video has helped you kind of understand a new officer. He's absolutely amazing. I see so much potential, not only from him as an officer, but the skill training that he's going to provide to put, you know, onto all these different units. I hope this video helped you. Thank you so much for being amazing. And as always, please let me know down in the comments if there's any videos that I could help to make you learn new things in Warpath. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.